You know, it's stuff like this that makes me just laugh at the current state of console gaming right now. And honestly, Xbox, as we all know, has pretty much bowed out of the console race. Sony is pretty much running around uncontested for the most part. And Nintendo is in their own world just doing what they've always done. And that's why they continue to be successful. But apparently, Xbox Game Studios now has an upcoming video game called called Our History Untold, which is a Civilization competitor. And this game that is supposed to be, I'm assuming, historically accurate to some extent, features non-binary leaders, ladies and gentlemen.
What the hell is even that?
Yes, because any opportunity to insert modern day into previous historical people and characters is just going to be taken upon, right? They're going to do this. They're always going to continue to do this, and it deserves to be mocked. So let's get into this article, guys, from That Park Place. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. Now, obviously, completely made up, right? All BS. Nobody knows any of these people were considering themselves to be non-binary, and I would guarantee they weren't, because non-binary is a thing of modern day, right? This is not something that they thought of back in this time, right? But this is what they were going to try to portray, because people like this, who are so ingrained with their sexuality being their identity, right? Or are so ingrained with holding titles, like pronouns as titles, modern day nonsense. They're so ingrained in it that they need to find it in previous history in order to validate their current nonsense, because they know deep down that all of this stuff is modern day bullshit. They know that, but they need to go back in time to try to find anything they possibly can to label those people as what they are, so that they can say, whoa, no, look, this has been happening for the longest. Look at this. You know, Our History Untold, developed by Oxide Games and published by Xbox Game Studios, which aims to be a competitor to Civilization, will feature a so-called non-binary leader. The game, which releases later this month, features a Game Pass trophy called Barbenheimer that requires players bombard cities 100 times as a female or non-binary leader, according to True Trophies. The trophy provides 20 game score. Now, keep in mind, guys, this is such a joke, okay, that they are going to try to gaslight you, and they're going to try to say, well, what's the big deal? What's the big deal? It's such a small thing. It's just pronouns, bro. It's just non-binary, bro. What's the big deal? Why does it matter to you, bro? They're going to try to gaslight you, because it does matter, right? It clearly does matter, because if it didn't matter, you wouldn't be doing this, right? You wouldn't be trying to go in an historical game and trying to add stuff that was not historically there. You wouldn't be trying to do this. You're doing this for modern day points. You're doing this for the modern audience. You're doing this for people who are never going to play this game anyway. That's the ironic thing about all this. They're never going to touch this game, never going to play this game, never going to buy this game, never going to support this game. And we know this is to be true because we see what happens when a video game, a movie, or a TV show is made for the modern audience. Almost nobody shows up, and that's not our fault. It's unclear which historical figure Oxide Games is turning into a so-called non-binary individual. It's in Gamescom's showcase. The company revealed a number of historical figures that will be leaders, including Sappho, Izikoto, Wu Zeti, I can't say these names, Nefertiti, Elizabeth, Joan d'Arc, Otto von Bismarck. You know, they're gonna make d'Arc actually. They're gonna make her the non-binary person for sure, because they've already been trying for a while now. Other leaders confirmed for the game include Alexander the Great. Oh, maybe they'll make him gay. Aminius, Ahsoka, Askia, Muhammad, etc. There's a bunch of people. So I can only imagine they're probably going to make most of the female leaders non-binary, right? Because non-binary is a thing that a lot of women tend to use. That it's not really used by men too much. I see women using it a lot because it's just that extra special title. And, you know, women just have to feel extra special. So they got to use non-binary to do so. As for how the game approaches history, the company's narrative design, there is no history. What do you mean? There is no approach to history when you're using terms like non-binary. Right? There's no such thing. This is not a historical game. This is fiction at this point. You need to, if you're gonna buy this game, if you're gonna spend your money on this game, you need to go into it with the mindset that this is fiction. If you're going in it with the mindset of trying to play actual historical characters or people in a certain historical setting, just realize none of it will be real. None of it is true. None of it. It's all bullshit. It's all fiction. Then it says the company's narrative designer and historian, again, there's no historian that believes in non-binary, Grace Rojas explained, in my eyes, history is about storytelling. It's a common misconception that history is strictly about the facts and figures. What? Oh my God, the gaslighting. The gaslighting is astronomical. I really can't. What do you mean history is not about strictly telling the facts and figures? That is what it is, right? Storytelling is something different. If you want to tell a story based in a historical era and you want to lie a little bit, you want to, exaggerate a little bit, then yeah, that's fine. You're storytelling. But this is a historically accurate. It's supposed to be historically accurate. You're featuring real people, real settings, and it's supposed to be a competition to civilization, which does the same exact thing. Why are you introducing non-binary characters? That doesn't make any sense. There's nothing historical about that. I can't wait to see the gaslight. Then it says that, again, but history goes way beyond that. She added, to truly understand history, we must also be willing to dive deep into the past and acknowledging and examining pieces of the story that can often be overlooked and how that information contributed to the development of the world as we know it. Rojas continued, another piece which was key to our approach for this game was ensuring that the information we present to the players is as accurate and unbiased as possible. Bullshit! Unbiased? Bro, you have non-binary leaders. That is the maximum level of bias. What are you talking about? This person wants to say they're unbiased? Yeah, okay. I do want to acknowledge that through history itself can be biased for a variety of reasons, but we work tirelessly to ensure that we present to the world accurate and respectful representations of the cultures and people we decided to highlight. She said, to do this, we work with a mix of primary and secondary sources. We consulted with experts on the subject matter, and we received feedback from folks who have ties to the region we cover and so much more, Rojas relayed. Again, guys, they want to talk about accurate representation, and they very well may accurately represent whatever culture they want to adopt for this video game. But let it be known, when you start doing the pronoun nonsense, when you start doing non-binary nonsense, you are not historically accurate in the slightest. Everything that you do in this video game will be thrown out the water. It will be muddied. It's like there's no point. You are ruining any chance for people to take your game seriously, because the moment they see non-binary applied to a historical figure that lived in a time where non-binary wasn't a thing, never was a thing, never will be a thing, you are clearly liars who are biased to your own personal ideas and ideologues that you're trying to apply to the past. You're trying to take over history. It's history revisionism. That's what you're trying to do right now by doing the non-binary nonsense that nobody asked for. Speaking specifically on the leaders that they chose, Rojas was asked if there was any that she was particularly excited to include. She responded, during the selection process, I was really stoked to see leaders like Benito Juarez, Sappho, and Sejong the Great. Rojas went on to explain that every leader's personality traits are driven by research into their real-world history, and each leader's unique ability speaks out to one of their greatest accomplishments as leaders. The initial relationships between leaders are impacted by how much they may or may not have in common with each other, and it also impacts the way that their AI chooses to pursue prestige and ultimately victory. Bro, this thing is such bullshit. It's such bullshit. I'm telling you right now, a lot of the women are going to be non-binary. I promise you. They're going to be non-binary. There's no doubt about it. There's not going to be many men in the game who are going to be non-binary. It's almost always going to be women. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.